Hey guys, AndCap24 here from SmartMadden.com, coming back with another video for the gun tight offset tight end formation scheme series. Today we're going to be looking at the play called Saints In, and specifically today we're going to go look at man coverage and man press coverage. And what I'm going to do here is kind of attack a popular defense that people are asking all the time when they comment on the videos. How do I beat the two-man quarterback contain at a quarter normal when they press it? So they've got pretty much max coverage. They got 5 DBs out there, 2 safeties deep, and they've got that quarterback spy in the middle. And we're going to go ahead and look at that defense and show you how we can attack that with this Saints in play. I'm planning on doing a man press beating video just for the Saints playbook like we did for the Denver Broncos playbook, but I wanted to get something in your hands right away for this formation so you can go to something that you have a little bit of confidence in if they go to this type of coverage. So let's go ahead and take a look at it now. So just like every other setup in the gun tight offset tight end, we want to make sure that we got the halfback one package out there, which basically puts the number one receiver in the slot right position in that A and has your number one running back in the backfield. Okay, so that's the setup we want to make sure that you understand that you're going to start off with every single one. Now, in order to beat man coverage or man press, I'm going to show you the first setup that's going to get you several options. I'm going to show you progression of who you want to look at for your first, second, and third reads in order to be able to beat your opponent and also throw in the fourth read if you have to get to that. Okay, so the first setup is simply this. You're going to put the X on a redrag. The reason why is this drag, if you look at it right now, look to the right side to where the 50-yard marker is. See how it goes above the 50-yard mark? If you do a redrag, he's going to go and split the 0. It's about a half a yard to a yard closer. I like that better for a few reasons. One, it gets him a little bit quicker out there. Two, it doesn't bump into some of your routes. It just kind of works out a little bit better in my opinion. So that's why I redrag him, okay? Now, the second thing you want to do is you want to motion your A out to the right-hand side. And the reason why we're doing this is we're trying to get splits. Okay, if he was too close, then our progression wouldn't work as well. But that's the only thing you're going to do. Now, the way we're going to read this is going to be your first read is going to be the X receiver. He's going to be open most commonly first because of his ability to get off of a press or beat man coverage right off the bat. Okay, he's your first read. The second read is the Y receiver. Now, the Y receiver is going to be that read because he's going to have that quick out to the left-hand side after the X would have an opportunity to know if he's open. Your third read is going to be this in route by your running back because it's going to go from the X left to the Y to the R. It's going to be your progression, and your fourth read will be the A route if all else fails, or if the middle linebacker is a user and jumps on one of your routes that you would thought you were going to throw to first. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you how this works against non-press, and then we're going to show you against press and kind of show you exactly what we're talking about in this video. So let's go ahead and look at our first read here. It's going to be your X receiver. You're going to be able to throw it to him underneath and be able to get about 5 to 7 yards pretty easily on the dump-off pass. Let's go ahead and show to you the second read how it's going to be. And we're going to move this A over. And the second read, like I said, is going to be the Y. And now we're showing this with non-press. I want to make sure you understand that. And then we'll show you press later. The Y is going to be your second read. As he does that speed out, you're going to be able to hit him against man coverage. Your third read is going to be the running back, where you're going to be able to see that he's going to be able to use that unique in route where he's got that little bit of an edged route where that beats man coverage very easily. You're going to see that he's going to be through here, and as soon as he cuts to the left, you're going to see he loses his man and gets that easy yardage there against man coverage. And then your fourth read is going to be this A route once we move him over. Now this is going to be a little bit different because the A route usually works as a fourth read once you get the middle linebacker to commit to somebody, but because he's kind of sometimes in the throwing way, but you'll see what I mean here. X goes there, Y goes there. As you can see, now you're going to be able to throw this A across the front here against man coverage as well. So that's all 4 of your reads in succession, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about man press now. And I want to show you a couple different things that people are going to try to do right away because of just their pre-snap adjustments they're going to try. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to base the line and they're going to press, right? If they base the line and press, they're going to be so far wide out that they're going to have to change this up eventually because of the fact that we're going to have such a huge advantage. If you look at our routes here versus their routes, you're going to see that the X receiver is going to have a huge advantage on that drag. I'm going to see that the A receiver is going to have inside position. He's going to have a huge advantage on his receiver, and also the running back as well if we don't do any adjustments. If I was to see this type of coverage and saw that they were doing man coverage, I would definitely do more drags. You have all these type of slant patterns that are going to beat the guys inside. It's not a smart thing for them to do. They're going to have to adjust to it, but I'll show you real quick that if we leave the X where he is, you're going to see how open he's going to get, and once they see that, they're not going to be able to stay in a baseline press situation. It's just not smart. Okay, so the next thing they're going to try to do is they're going to try to press. Okay, and that's probably the best way they can do it possibly, because you can see how those guys are pressed up against their man. It's going to give them a little bit of a advantage in their minds that they're going to be able to get in your face and derail your route. But let's go ahead and show you the setup that we just showed you against regular man coverage with press. So we're going to put the X on a drag, and we're going to move this A receiver over for some extra spacing because he's going to be our fourth option. Now, what I want to make sure you know is when you talk about progression and options, all these guys will get open the majority of the time, but a lot of times, sometimes, depending on how people bump into each other, how things work, that's why you go for progression. The first guy you should always look at is the X receiver. Now, if he happens to get caught up in the mix, the second guy you want to look at is the Y receiver and see how he looks, and then you want to go to the RB, then you want to go to the A. Don't expect the X to be open every single time. Don't expect the Y to be open every single time, nor the RB or the A if you're only honing on one player. What you want to try to do is, if the X isn't open, most likely the reason why is because he got caught up making the Y open. If the X and the Y don't get open, that's probably because the user went ahead and covered the Y receiver himself, leaving the RB over after the X got caught up. Or they can't cover the Y and the A with a user because of the spacing, and he's going to be your last route. So I'm just going to run this play several times, looking through my progressions and trying to go and show you the different options. Okay, so here we go. You're going to see that the X is my first option. He gets held up. I'm going to actually throw it to the RB this time because he was the next guy that I saw that had the ability to get open. So let's go ahead and show it here again. Move these guys in. Go ahead and put the X on a drag. Move this guy over. And let's go ahead and show it to you here. And just kind of go through the progression. So the first one, again, we're going to look at is the X receiver. And you can see that the X receiver this time does get the advantage. And we're going to be able to get around the corner for the easy 7-yard gain. That is going to be your first read, like I said before. So let's go ahead and press him up again. Put the X on the drag. Move this guy over. And let's see if we can look at the X and the Y as the next one. Alright, so here we go. You're going to see that the X does get open, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it to the Y just because I want to show you progression on this set. Okay, so you can see how that the Y gets open against press. Now let's go ahead and say all else fails. They're all in my face. I can't get this play off. I'm going to look and try to see if I can simulate getting the A ball after all those players aren't open. So let's go ahead and look at it again here. So you got the X, say he's not open, say the Y's not open, say the B's not open. Now we're going to the A receiver. That time, quickly able to knock the ball out, but you can see that he was open. And that's the way that you're looking at your progressions here to beat man press in 4 different ways on this play. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it a couple more times and see again here. X is kind of open. I'm going to throw it to the Y though because I didn't like the advantage that he had. I felt that the Y would have been a better yardage for me because X didn't get really a clean release the way I wanted him to. Okay, so let's go ahead and press it again. Put the X on there. Move this guy over. And we're going to go ahead and I accidentally pressed the B on a streak, which he shouldn't have been, but doesn't matter. It's not going to affect this play any. Okay, so we're going to head here. X is not wide open, so we're going to throw it to the RB receiver this time and be able to get our easy yardage against press coverage. So you can see how well this works. A lot of time people are going to go to this quarters 3 down lineman with the spy in the middle. They're not really sending pressure. You saw this in the Madden challenge where what you saw a lot of times where Serious Mo was running this type of defense, and he was kind of using his middle linebacker and try to cut off, some of the early reads. And that's kind of one of those things. But when you split the field the way we are, you're not going to be able to cover the Y and the A route at the same time with a manual player. You're not going to be able to cover the X manually and the Y at the same time, and you're definitely not going to be able to cover the X and the RB. So that's why the splits that we're doing against all these man coverage beaters are really going to be able to get your opponent to be frustrated of who they're going to be able to cover. Their best bet is literally to go ahead and try to use the strong safety and put them in the box and be able to go ahead and try to cut off some of those routes, but God honest truth, they're still not going to be able to cover the Y and the X because they're two different types of routes on two different sides of the field. So we're going to go ahead and show it to you one more time just to see X gets off this player there. But we're just going to go ahead and throw it to this A as he crosses that linebacker for the last of the four. So you can see how the progressions go from left to right and kind of work it that way. Now, this is also something we can add playmaker to our scheme. If they're not pressing and they're just in man coverage, what I like to do is put the X on a drag and go ahead and make sure that when the guy goes ahead and crosses the center, we're going to do playmaker him, and then we're going to go and move him to the corner and make sure that he goes ahead and we do that drag corner that we showed you in a different video. Right now, all I'm going to do is hold down the L trigger, then I'm going to move him to the corner, and you can see how open he gets right there for the easy catch up the field. Now, if it's press coverage, what I like to do is not try to drag corner that because there's going to be less separation. I'm going to take that X and I'm going to put him on a streak. And we're actually going to playmaker the running back. The running back does that unique cut to the left-hand side. We're going to playmaker him back to the right. And you're going to see how much separation he's going to be able to get down the field. Watch here. So you're going to be able to see that this playmaker goes back to the right with the running back, and see how much open space you're going to be able to have because of the fact that we're clearing out that whole left side. So I'll show it to you one more time here. We're going to put the press here. We're going to put the X on a streak. You're going to watch that this running back is going to be able to get playmakered back this way and see how you're going to be able to get all that room against man press because of the way that route is able to get that separation you want. So the second setup is actually going to be done flipped, and I do it flipped because I want to kind of give a different look against man press in order just to kind of keep them a little bit off balance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and press it up. You're going to know that anything that works against press is going to work against man coverage, so I'm not going to go over it like I did on the first setup. Now, this setup here, we're going to take this Y receiver and we're going to motion him to the right. We're going to take this A receiver and we're going to slant him, and we're going to take the B and we're going to drag him. Okay? So that's the setup right there. What you're going to see is that our first read again is going to be that B on the drag route. The second read is going to actually be the slant. Well, I kind of like the slant as a better read than the B, but just in progression, you're going to see if the B is going to be open first before you see the A. So I always say B first then A, but personally, I'm looking to hit the A first. And then the third read is going to be the into the running back, and then the fourth read is actually going to be the post to the X route. I say it's the fourth read, but it's actually kind of tied for the third read because it happens at the same time as the RB. So what you want to do is you look BA, and then either you want to look at the X or you look at the RB depending on your matchup. So let's go ahead and show it here. You're going to see that the B is going to be the first one open, but I'm actually looking at the A because the A, in my opinion, gets more yards down the field. He's the one I really want to go to. So let's go ahead and show it to you again here. Move this guy over, put the A on a slant, the B on a drag, and let's make sure that they are pressing. So I showed you the A route. You're going to see that the B route will get open, but also this time we're looking at this route here, and you're going to see how you're going to be able to hit it to that running back on the right hand side because he's going to have that ability to do it there. So let's go ahead and show it to you. Move this guy over, the B on the slant, the B on the drag, the A on the slant, and you're going to be able to see, you know, the B this time be the guy that you're going to get open. It's just part of your reads depending on what you're doing here, on what read you're doing, but it's definitely something that you're going to be able to really just spread the field out, make sure that you have that ability to get everybody open that you want. And like I said before, the read should go first the B, then the A, then the RB, then the X. Okay, so the B. So now let's go ahead and try to get to the X here. You're going to see that he's going to get inside position. As long as you throw it right there, you're going to be able to get it in front of that one free safety. That time it was a little bit more of a risky throw than I usually like because of the press. It all depends on how your opponent likes to, you know, what their players are and whatnot. So Hester versus Tillman is not a good matchup for me because the press is much better for Tillman than it is for the break the press on Hester, but it is a route that I like to go to against a lesser DB in the press. So again, we're going to move over the Y, and then we're going to go ahead and make sure that we slant the A, drag the B, and you're going to see that you're going to be able to hit this. Now you do have that Y as an option as well on the right hand side if you got the matchup. It's just a matter of working it in as well, but you can see how often this setup beats press. Now we're also going to be able to do playmaker on this as well. Put these guys in, do the same Y over, and then we're going to do is be able to do the A on the slant. Instead of putting the B on the drag, we're going to put the B on a streak. We're going to be able to do that same playmaker to the RB, but this time we're going to make him go to the left. So let's go here, hold this, he does the cut, moving him to the left, and you're going to see here that he's going to be able to get those yards on the nice separation. I'll show you on the instant replay why. On this, what you're going to see is that this running back here is going to do this inside cut with that, like the rigid in, and then as soon as this guy goes ahead and does a slant, watch how he loses this play. This guy keeps on running that way, and you're going to have that 5-yard separation. Now you're going to see that the one guy that's going to get in your way is that slant pattern. You don't need that slant pattern to make this work for more yardage, but I like that slant pattern on there because it's another option we're going to be able to throw to if we want to, if the middle linebacker goes ahead and covers this this route with the running back on the playmaker. So if you see it here, what we can do is let's go ahead and show it here. Move this guy over, go ahead and put the A on the slant, the B on a streak. What you're going to see is if you want to do the playmaker to the running back, and we can also throw it this way to this guy, just in case anybody covers that running back on a type of playmaker route. So now we've already showed you a couple different setups, how to use Playmaker. The last thing I want to show you is how we can take advantage of this alignment that happens on this play. So what we're going to do is do the same thing we've been doing with the defense and putting them in a press. Now I want you to watch closely of who covers who here. On this play, you're going to see that the running back is covered by a player on the right hand side. Now watch what happens when we motion him to the left. You're going to see that nobody moves over there with him. That's a unique thing that happens on this coverage because of the way the alignment is. You're going to see that this guy still covers that running back. We're going to take advantage of that, especially in a quick hike situation. We're in a situation where we need, a few yards to go, and we want to get it in on that 3rd and 4. He's in man coverage. We're going to do this really quickly, and we're going to be able to make it work. So right now, all I'm going to do so that we don't have anybody in our way is I'm just going to go ahead and drag our wide receiver and make sure that that RB, you're going to see how far that guy has to come over to cover him. So going here, this is just an easy route for us to be able to open up over here, right? And this is kind of a delayed route. That's kind of one of those things that you don't show your cards right away. If you want to show your cards right away, you absolutely can by doing a couple different setups that I've got in the play call sheets. And the first thing, all we're going to do is put the X on a drag, the Y on a streak, and we're going to move this guy over, and we're going to put him on a flat. Now, while he's moving over, you want to put him in a flat so it's a quick hike situation, okay? That time I kind of delayed it a little bit, but you're going to see that that guy cannot get over in time. You're going to be able to throw it to this guy, and you're going to be able to have a quick hike, and that's really going to kind of frustrate your opponent, okay? Because he didn't see it coming. He wasn't able to adjust it in time, didn't see it coming, right? So that's the first thing you can do. The second thing you can do is you can go ahead and do a swing left prior to the guy moving, put the X on a drag, the Y on a streak, move him over, and see how he's going to be over here. As soon as he settles, you can go ahead and do it. It's going to be kind of like a screen type deal, and you get him a little bit wider out by doing it that way. So you can put him on a swing left. You can put him on a wheel where you're going to have to wheel him first, put the X on a drag, the Y on a streak, and you can move him over. And you can see, I'm just going to put the press on so everything's consistent here. And you're going to see that you're going to be able to get to that wheel the same exact way down the sidelines there. You can show that here that we're going to do the press again here. Oh, I'm showing blitz instead. I messed up there. All right, so there you go. So that's the press. Now, what you're going to be able to do here is be able to do what I think is the best, which is the out left. Okay, out left gets that little bit of outside, at this point goes to the left one that goes upside. Once you do it to the left hand side, you're going to see that this out is going to get an outside release to the outside. And you're going to see that this is, to me, is the best way because it gets up the field the quickest and gives you the best opportunity to get away from your players and get down the field. In this situation, I would also put the Y on a fade to try to get a little bit closer to that free safety, but you can see how he takes the one step in, then he's out to that side, and you're going to be able to get easily 10 to 15 yards without doing anything on this play. So I'm just going to show it to you one more time here with the out left, move this guy over, make sure that they're pressing, and you're going to see here that as long as you get that Y receiver out of the way, you're going to be able to get up the field and throw it to this player and get your yardage very, very easily. Now, the only thing they can do to adjust on this is they try to cover it manually or start doing different things with their, like try to put somebody on a blue flat blue, whatever. But that's going to open up everything else. So if you do that, X here, Y on a streak, move this guy over. Let's say he's doing a flat this time, just trying to do a quick hitter. And say just for whatever reasons, this guy is going to go ahead and cover that player right there, okay? So I'm going to pretend like he's covering that player, and what you're going to open up here is this A route in the middle. So this guy's going to have to come over the left. You're going to see that this A route is going to be wide open in the middle of the field because there's nobody there to cover him. So they really can't cover both players. It's just not going to happen. So I'm going to show it again here. So let's just put the X on a drag, the Y on a streak, and move this guy over, put him on a flat, and say we're just going to cover him over here just to simulate it that he's going to be way over here. And you're going to see that this guy is going to be able to beat his man to the middle of the field because that guy had to cover that player. There's just no different two ways. So, guys, this is the man press man beating play. It's called Saints In. Definitely something you want to put in your repertoire right away to be able to beat those players. Once you start going to this, they're going to get away from man press. You really got to see, guys, that the best way to get people out of their comfort zone is have a combat for that, and that's what we show you at smartmadden.com. Appreciate the video following that you guys are doing for us. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend, let us know. Check out our website at smartmadden.com. Appreciate it, guys. Have a great day.